Okay, hello humans. This is just a quick thing because I cannot find a recording of the audio examples of different types of distortions. So I'm just going to share my screen and play set examples from weird old presentations and references that I have. So one by one, a breath distortion. I usually use Bryan Adams.
Don't tell me it's not worth trying for. You can't tell me it's not worth dying for.
Yeah, so the strainy kind of constipated cool rock dude sound. I hate this song, but this is Hinder, Lips of an Angel, and he's doing the same thing, and he's doing the same thing throughout. This is just breath-based.
So late. It's kinda hard to talk right now. Honey, why you crying? Is everything okay?
And it's everywhere. Like,
It's really good to hear your voice saying my name. It sounds so sweet, coming from the lips of an angel.
like you can absolutely just get that through breath, and it's wild and really funny. So then fry or fry-based stuff, I always use Adele because normal use of fry is in pop music at the beginning of each phrase here.
Oh, friend, why are you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back.
That. And for more sustained, I use AFI because
Reaching for the golden ring, we never let go. Cry whatever, let us run across the enterprise.
so yeah, then we've got your false vocal folds. I'm on Amarth. Just if we're being hyper pedantic, because why not be hyper pedantic? All metal is combo distortions, yeah? This one is falsehold plus breath at the same time. That's why it doesn't sound like Mongolian throat singing. Mongolian throat singing, of course, is part of it somewhere. I don't know if I have Mongolian throat singing here. Do I? I do. Yeah, like this. That. And for an example in a pop song, because I really dislike it when people think that I dislike it when people think that distortions are genre specific and that they aren't genre specific. You can find examples of everything everywhere, but every distortion is more likely to occur in certain genres than everywhere. But a pop music example of Falsehold would be Tom Walker's Leave a Light On.
You'll be safe to feel like grace, cause we've all made mistakes. If you've lost your way, yeah, I will leave the light on. I will leave the light on.
So, pop. You can get Falsehold in pop. Then we have Arytenoids. This is my favorite example. I know that it's kind of weird and obscure, but it is Native American singing Young Spirit, Weechaaaala. It's the sound right at the end. That noise. For a more sustained, stereotypical thing, I would use Benson Boone's Beautiful Things.
Don't take these beautiful things that I've got. Please stay.
that. So that's Arytenoids. I'm gonna go down saying you don't hear Arytenoids often. Aryepiglottic, I always use Nirvana, I always use Lithium. This is Lithium Live.
In our days, 'cause I found God.
Again, I would be very happy to consider that it's a different type of distortion if anyone could demonstrate it well. So every time that I hear people claim that Kurt Cobain is doing Fry or that he's doing Falsehold, the subsequent example or demonstration doesn't sound anything like Kurt Cobain, and it tends to sound like Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, who absolutely is doing Falsehold from a twangy Aryepiglottic location. But yeah. And then the second thing that I use for Aryepiglottic is Michael Jackson. Earth Song. Etc. If you are wondering why this isn't Falsehold, or if this is Falsehold, my recommendation is listen to Beast in Black's cover of Michael Jackson, They Don't Really Care About Us, and then listen to Michael Jackson's version and see if you perceive the distortion as sounding the same. If you think the distortion sounds the same, then you might as well learn Falsehold, because there's not a big difference for you aesthetically, and Falsehold is definitely easier. And if you perceive a difference, like I do, this is how my brain categorizes and explains that difference. But, you know, everything's up for debate. As I said, I'm not speaking truth with a capital T. And last is Epiglottis, Toni Braxton.
Don't leave me out in the rain. Bring back the nights when I held you beside me.
Pop divas, Beyonce, Christina Aguilera. This is the land of the Epiglottis. I do have Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. I know that he's in a complex distortion and mixture of things, but on the red of the red roses, that's definitely Epiglottis.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
That's not what false vocal folds sound like. And Sarah Connor from Sarah with Love is a good example of Epiglottis.
She never found the words to say, but I know that today she's gonna send her letter to you from love. She's gotta know what you are thinking of, 'cause every little now and then and again.
So, yeah, Epiglottis. Yeah. That. So these are some like microscopic examples for you of what these things sound like. I don't know, like if anyone was like, what about examples of all these distortions that are only happening in metal? I'm not sure that I could find good examples for all of these that are just under the umbrella of metal. I could certainly find complex examples where it's like statistically probable to be this, but metal doesn't really... metal mostly uses false vocal folds, and then once in a blue moon, if you're really lucky, maybe Fry. It doesn't... You don't hear the other ones as much. So that, just mini video with some examples for you to consider. Yay. And funsies. Bye.